Hey guys, King of Trias here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you the most common team for the Love Cup. And it's one that I actually featured before. Talonflame, Electrode, and Medicham XL. So Talonflame, Electrode, in my opinion, the most powerful core. It is literally the core that is featured the most in the top teams and ranked most as in very high teams in Pvpoke.com. So this team's not only the most common, it's also incredibly powerful and has statistically and factually thrown its way to victory. By the way, Electrode's using Hyper Beam. Do not use Foul Play on your Electrodes. Use Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam Electrode is goated. For those of you that are saying Hyper Beam is not goated, no, Hyper Beam is freaking goated. And you use that instead of Foul Play. The reason why is because Hyper Beam can possibly KO those Medicham or Scrafty XL. Well, Medicham XL, Scrafty. God, I hope not it's XL in the Great League. That'd be terrible. But Hyper Beam has such a high kill range, and if you look at the facts, Hyper Beam is actually better than Foul Play in most scenarios. Yes, that's the Pvpoke.com matrix. Anybody telling you otherwise does not know what the heck they're talking about, and Hyper Beam Electrode gives you more win cons than Foul Play would. So, without further ado, I'm going to feature Talonflame, Electrode, and Medicham. This is the most common team and the team that I vibed with the most in the last time Love Cup came around. I'm going to use it for this time for the shoutcast. And without further ado, before we get started, this is going to be my terrible... Damn, I'm doing really terribly. I have to drink more water. Actually, speaking of water, I'm going to get that later. However, as you see here, my mental health tip for the day is to make sure you make... Well, actually, it's kind of... I figured out how to try to word this. Make sure you have a routine. So routines are pretty dang good, right? When you have habits, you form healthy habits. Good habits are good. For example, you wake up, you make your bed. My bed is made in the back. It's my routine of when I get up. In order to get off my bed, I will make my bed, and then after that, straight to either my run or lifting. Either one, whatever workout I have to do for the day. I get up, make my bed, go to the bathroom if I need to, wash my face, and then I go take my vitamins, my supplements, and then after I go work out right away. Healthy habits. Start the healthy stuff right away, so then that goes on throughout the rest of the day. And even if I have therapy for the day, I still work out. So I work out in the morning, get my supplements in, get my water in, again, wash my face, etc. And then poof, form healthy habits. Healthy habits can only be formed if you repeatedly do them. So in order to form them, you have to do them over and over and over again. And for mental illness, there's actually a lot of, for example, let me give you an example. For a major depressive disorder, in order for you to actually get past major depressive disorder, if you've had depression for 2 weeks or you felt down, sad, or out for about 2 weeks, then you might have major depressive disorder. So in order to combat, or it's called clinical depression, you can have depressive episodes, which, oh, I'm depressed for the day, and then you have clinical depression. So clinical depression is way worse than depressive episodes. Depressive episodes can go away. Clinical depression does not for a long period of time. So for clinical depression, one of the 2 ways to cure it is exercise. So make sure if you have major depressive disorder, one of the ways you can cure it long term and after you're done with remission is to repeatedly exercise. Exercise is proven to help scientifically, and this is why I exercise every day, because guess who has major depressive disorder? Or at one point I did. So with that being said, I also have other clients. I have clients that do have major depressive disorders, and I'm able to relate to them so much because I practice healthy habits, so I don't go into remission. Remission sucks. Depression sucks. But in order for you not to go back to that really dark and cold place, you got to put the work in. So that starts by forming healthy habits and by going in and waking up every day so that you don't stay in that dark, crowded place which you call your bed, and then you're just stuck in there and you sleep all day, which is also a symptom of major depressive hypersomnia. Yeah, hypersomnia, which is called hypersomatic, which is basically you sleep more than... But that's my mental health tip for the day. And speaking of depression, I'm about to cause excitement, the opposite of depression, because you are about to see some sweet beams for this shoutcast. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. So, this team is actually pretty freaking, well, it's a Talonflame freaking Electrode core is the best, and hashtag GetBeamed. We get Porygon 2 and a Talonflame for the burst battle. I'm kind of scratching my head. That is a very spicy mon, but this matchup actually isn't bad because of the fact that Tribe Attack debuffs you and it's like a 50% chance. However, that's only if you don't shield. And we hit the burb through shield, and I'm like, wow, holy, why would you not shield that? There's no reason for me to bait. I should have went for the big beams here, but instead I go for the bait. And you're asking, like, King of Charmants, are you really a Grand Master of beams? Yes, I am. However, on this day, I'm not. At least in this battle, I'm not. As you see here, freaking they don't call it, and I'm actually kicking myself as, you know, why didn't I just go straight for the beam? Why didn't I go straight for the beam? You're like, I'm like, you're winning right now. Like, that's what many people ask me, but you know what? It's not enough that you win the battle. You gotta win the war. If you don't beam, you don't exactly win the war. You're gonna win the battle, but you might win the battle, but you don't win the war. So, all we're gonna see here is that this thing is going to literally try to lunge / cross poison me to death, and I'm trying to set myself up for a hyper beam. That's why I swap out. I send in Medicham, and I'm going to sacrifice Medicham so I can earn back my honor, because there is no honor in not beaming in this battle. As you see here, I'm going to beat the unholy crap out of this Ariados, and I'm going to hope that they send their back row, and they do. I'm going to try to fire off a Psychic here. They don't have Hyper Beam. That's perfectly fine. This actually won't kill. This is Hyper Beam. If it's discharged, it won't kill. So, I'm going to Psychic. My opponent probably is going to shield, or they're going to top left. So, by my disappointment, I was actually very disappointed they didn't stay in. I really wanted you to stay in so I could yell hashtag get beamed. But you know, on this day, it didn't happen. And so, on the next battle, we have a fellow legend on level rank 20, legend on legend. I'm just going to call it at this point. And we lose the lead really freaking hard. Now, here's the good thing. Seaking has only Icy Wind and Drill Run. So, this isn't that bad for the fact that Icy Wind is neutral, Drill Run's resisted. You go for the Suburban. I'm going to hit you with the Brave Bird. I'm going to hit you with this freaking Burb. It's going to put you in the red if you do not shield. I'm going to send in Electrode and I attempt to snipe down the Seaking, but they still have a split second to switch. And as you see here, they switch into Medicham. But you know what? I don't care if you have a whole ass Medicham. You know what I'm going to do? This time, I will not repeat my mistakes from the last battle. I will go and I will shove my big coconuts in front of your face. And we're going to go straight for the beam. This is a shiny Electro, by the way. So you know what? Hashtag get beamed, baby. And as you see, the beam goes through the shields and we killed the Medicham and I earned back my honor. And I actually got lucky because I noticed that wasn't a level 50 Medicham. Level 50 Medicham, depending on IVs, may barely live that matchup. But as you see here, I'm going straight for the Hyper Beam again. Will my opponent respect the beam? Will they respect the beam? Will they shield this and not show the excitement for this content? And they shield out of fear. You know what? I got one off. 2 would have been just absolutely legendary. But you know what? You take the wins when you take the dubs as much as you can. We already got 1 beam through shields. 2 is enough. 2 is a lot to ask for. Especially when my opponent already knows that I have really big huevos. Those are eggs for Spanish, by the way. As you see here, all we're going to send is Medicham. We're going to beat this thing down. And I send in my Talonflame. And guess what I caught, baby? Hashtag get beamed. I send in my Talonflame. Sacrifice it to the Electrode gods. And my Talonflame is looking at me as it dies. And it's like, really, dude? Really, dude? Did you literally just, like, use me as, like, a shield? Yes. You know what? You got bullets. My body has a shield. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And if you didn't use it, my opponent top lefts immediately after discovering that. I just caught that beam. And even, yeah, that was so sexy. Oh my god, I was like, when I saw it, I was like, is this a Hyper Beam? And I was like, I'm so sorry, Talonflame. I am so sorry. And then it started looking at me like, really, dude? Really, dude? Really, dude? Freaking stupid trainer. We get Ariados into my Talonflame. And all I'm going to do is I'm frantically trying to switch into Medicham. And for some reason, this game isn't registering the fact that I decide to switch into my Medicham. Of course, right? Freaking go Battle League. I mean, go Battle Lag. The greatest thing since sliced bread. No, sliced bread is better. Let's be real. Freaking cinnamon rolls are amazing. And cinnamon rolls are made out of bread. So are churros and cake and all the other baking delicacies. I like baking, by the way, and you could tell I really like sweets. And I love food. Oh my god, that's why I say la comida. La comida is like that means food. The food in Spanish. The food. Food is good. All we're gonna do is power punch down this Dregon. I hope I'm saying it right at this point. Dregon. You can roast me in the comments. I'm pretty sure I'm still saying it wrong. But you know what? We got the Dragon. He goes down. And then all we're going to do is we're going to see the Ariados come back in. I'm going to fire off the Psychic. This will either break a shield or it's going to do heavy damage. What does my opponent choose? You choose death? You in fact choose death, and that one-shots the Ariados to hell. And as you see, we have an Electrode in the back. And I'm vibing super hard right now. You know what? Maybe, just maybe, this opponent will not be like our first opponent. They will stay in. They will let us beam you. I send in my Talonflame in an attempt to Flame Charge. And as you see here, I will sack Talonflame in an attempt to Hyper Beam through shields. Discharge goes through. This will KO our Talonflame. And you're probably wondering like, dang dude, you are trying so hard. Yes, I am. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to get this extra volt switch in, and then I am going to fire a discharge, attempt to break the shield, and go straight for the beam. As you see, my opponent attempts to beam me in the face, and I'm like, wow. So I undercharge this, and I'm like, are you going to stay in, sir? They're probably going to shield, and they do not shield. And my brain is like, really, dude? Why do you not shield? I'm going to fire off the hyper beam. Are you going to respect the beam? If my opponent respects the beam, you will forever be goated. Hashtag get beamed. And then they do respect the beam. I'm like, wow. GG's. I also respect you greatly, trainer. You did not shield the beam. Maybe they were testing my cojones too. They were testing my huevos. They're like, dude, do you have coconuts? Are you going to fire the beam at me? And sure enough, I did shield the beam, so... You got more legend on legend action. You got Talonflame versus Slowking, and this is a terrible lead. So, all we're going to do here is I'm going to bring a shield Brave Bird, and we're going to pray to the gods that we can freaking come out with a W, or I'm going to get extra confusion. As you see here, I do not have any idea why I lagged there, and I'm like, oh wow, this is great. I lagged. They got 2 extra confusions through. I'm really behind. So how do we come out with a W? Only time will find out. We'll tell. I attempt the snipe down attack as I did Electrode from before, 2 battles before. Except this time it's not on Seaking, it's on a Slowking. And they go for a Fire Blast. And I'm like, what? You tried to Fire Blast me? Slowking with Fire Blast is actually very spicy, no pun intended. But as you see here, we get the Ariados. And I'm like, oh my god, are you going to respect the beam? I go for the discharge, and I'm hoping this is CMP, and this does not go off, so I can shoot a beam, because I want a beam. And as you see here, it fires the discharge, and I'm so disappointed. I should have went straight for the beam. My opponent might not shield this, so I'm disappointed. And as you see, they do not shield, and I'm like, oh my god, this is really bad. So, I'm going to fire off another discharge. I really wanted to... I should have fired the beam. I should have fired the beam, but I'm hoping to grab a shield, and I do grab a shield. The idea here is that hopefully I can send in Talonflame to sponge all this energy. As you see here, an Incinerate does go through. I should be able to get 1 through Cross Poison, Lunge, or anything like that. I call the no shield, and as you see here, I should be able to get some extra Incinerates through. This is probably a Cross Poison. If it is, this will kill. That's perfectly fine. I want to get a little bit of farm on this Ariados, and hopefully Metachamp can come out with a W, and we get a Wormadam. And my brain is like, okay, that's a Wormadam. And I'm like, why are they getting all these extra confusions through? And I'm like, oh, the system's trying to play catch-up. So for those of you that don't know, as you see, this freaking... it's so annoying, because what happens is that if the system tries to play catch-up, you're going to be off interval. Ironhead goes off, and I'm like, why didn't you fire the Bug Buzz? And so I'm going to go straight pup at this point. My opponent is still getting all this energy. And I'm like, okay, so why aren't you firing the Bug Buzz? Why did you fire Ironhead? Are you going to fire? And as you see here, I'm going to fire another power-up punch. And my opponent is trying to go for some big move. My hunch is they don't actually have Bug Buzz, and they're just going to get punched down. And sure enough, it's GG's. Ironhead doesn't actually kill at this range. I should be able to just get 1 counter through, and that's GG's. I mean, hey, I'm fine with that. After all, you did get 2 extra confusions through in the beginning, and my intervals were just all off. So you know what? That's GG's. But as you see here, despite the fact our opponent got the energy lead, I still somehow came out with a W. Freaking... Don't screw this up, Niantic. Please, I'm flying down to compete in regionals. And as you see, we get the mirror match. Talonflame into Talonflame. And my opponent gives up switch, and I'm confused. I'm like, why don't you just play out the mirror match? Do not do what this trainer did, guys. Do not give up switch, because you never know if they have a big blue ball Electrode in the back. And as you see, all I'm going to do is discharge down and break all of these shields, because that is the play for this. This Alola Mola is going to try to break as many shields as it can as well. I'm going to try to get a little more energy through. As you see, I'm going to go over 1, and then I'm going to fire. And then I was going to go 1 over, but I'm like, you know what? This won't actually kill Alola Mola because it's so thick. And as you see, our opponent elects to fire the next shield. It's perfectly fine by me. I'm going to attempt to fire a discharge, hopefully catch him on CMP, and I do, and I still have shield advantage, by the way, so I'm vibing right now. Now, here's the problem. They have a whole Talonflame, and I have Metachamp. So I'm going to swap into Talonflame immediately. Like, why are you giving up Switch King Charm? That's because, as you see here, this is a Slowbro. And now I'm going to go 1 over, and then I'm going to pray that I get the swap, and I do. Here's the problem. This Brave Bird will actually kill my opponent. Brave Bird goes through my opponent, and it actually doesn't kill someone. I'm like, wow, you got some good IVs. Or rather, that should really put it. I wanted it to, I'm glad it didn't, so that I could get less energy. And then Slowbro comes to the back, and then this Brave Bird should kill, and it definitely kills a Slowbro. Slowbro ain't that thick, bro. And then that's GG's. G Slowbro, sorry, dude, you ain't got a big booty. My Talonflame hit you with a Survey Ribbon, and that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. Talonflame Electrode, hashtag GetBeamed is still the best core in my opinion for. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love this team so much because I like beaming everything to death with Electrode. This team is designed to take shields, and if you win the lead, any of the counter users, as in Metachamp XR Scrafty, do really well against things like Alola and of course opposing Electrodes. Really like this team. Like, I beamed so much with it, and I've also did a lot of misplays, and it really made me sad, but you know it's what it is. But despite the fact, as you see, as I lose lead, this most common team is still able to take the W and come out with some win conditions. I hope you guys enjoyed this shoutcast, and also please follow me on Twitch. I stream for sure Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, here and there. It just really depends, but for sure Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I do stream. Going back to streaming, I really miss streaming. I really enjoy all y'all that have tuned in, like Breach, Chad, who else has tuned in? Kinky Freak, and Collie. So a lot of my YouTube community has tuned in, and if you like to tune in, again, I stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes on other days. But hope y'all enjoyed the battles, and of course, I hope y'all enjoyed the beams. Hashtag get freaking beamed. And would you do me a huge favor? Please beam my like and subscribe button. It is totally free, and it really helps out the channel for the YouTube algorithm. Also, commenting also helps for the YouTube algorithm, by the way. Really appreciate you guys. If you would like to subscribe easily, there's a box spot right. Put your mouse over it, boom, you easily subscribe from over there. Really appreciate my current subscribers. I love my community. I love you guys. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. Hopefully you get all the stars in the world, because Love Cup is increased dust, so do your battles if you can. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. Get all that stardust in the world, and I will see you guys on the next video.